What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm taking some time away from the Polo to clean up the 635. Time is of the essence on the Polo project, but now that I've got the 635 at home and on the pavement behind my house, I kind of can't take it anymore. It needs to get cleaned up terribly. Like the interior, there's mouse nests literally poking out of the headliners. It hasn't been washed or even barely looked at in 20 years. There's just vegetation everywhere. And it's a somewhat warm day here in New Hampshire. It's super windy, so it's not the best day to be filming outside. But since I'm here working on commission work in my laser shop here at my house, I decided to take some time today to pressure wash the 635 and hoe the interior out. The interior is worse than the exterior, if you can believe that, but I'll get some detail shots going around the car to kind of show you guys how bad it really is. I love a patinaed car. I love the character that they bring, but this thing just needs to be cleaned. I said it in a previous episode. My good friend Aiden Templin from Virginia, who loves detail work. I love it too, but he's like a detail master. We've been talking about him coming up here before Alpine Volks Fair in Helen. We're both going to be down there, but he's 10 hours from here basically. And he's going to try to get up here before Helen to just hang out. But it'd be awesome to be able to provide some content while he's up here and have him do what he does best on some of these cars, the Polo or the 635. But I can't wait any longer on the E24. I feel like I'm just neglecting it even farther. The passenger side door is kind of all taken apart. Outside door handle's broken, but in the car. But one of the casting tabs on it broke off, so it needs a new door handle. And the lock mechanism has come apart too, and that's fallen down inside the door. There's no door card or inner door handle or anything like that on the inside, and it's not manual windows, it's power windows. And there's no battery, nothing's been hooked up. The bottom of the steering column, plastic's been pulled apart, and I don't have a key for the car, so I'm assuming the column was taken apart in an attempt to start the car at some point without a key. So I don't know what's been going on inside the car, but it's been taken apart. I did find the passenger side door, inner door handle in the car, and was able to just at least get it pushed onto the splines, and the mechanism still works from the inside. So I've been able to open the door. It won't shut all the way, but I've been able to actually open it, which is good for kind of getting into this side of the interior and vacuuming it out. You guys have probably noticed that the hex spoiler is no longer on the car, and I do have it, but unfortunately it had been ripped off the car and it's ripped in half. And any of you guys that have handled these know that the material they're made out of is like a foam, almost like a rubberized foam, and they have to stay conditioned. And if they sit outside in the beating sun on a car like this has for the last 23 years, they just become super brittle and they fall apart. They just kind of crumble. And that's unfortunately what's happened to this. I do appreciate all of you guys on Instagram that have reached out saying that you've got parts cars or parts that you're willing to either donate or sell to this project. So I've had a few people reach out about the hex spoilers. I will be hitting you up when I'm ready to dive into this project. The front end has a lot of damage, and I'm wondering if they had put a chain around the shark nose of the car and tried to move it or something, because the front end is just ripped apart. So at some point when I'm ready to dive into this project and start working on the aesthetics, getting a shark nose front end for the 635 will be on the list. I got a few friends locally that have 6 Series parts cars that have those parts available. I have yet to figure out what color they are, because my plan for the car is to leave the paint. I'm going to buff the paint that's there out to bring as much of it back as I can. But the plan is to leave the car basically with the character it has, with the exception of fixing up broken parts. It's got all the original glass in it, but unfortunately the windshield was hit with something, and that's the original windshield. But all the other glass is original, which is to be expected in most of these cars, but unfortunately the windshield will have to be replaced, and that was the OEM windshield. But super excited to start cleaning it up and giving it some attention, some well-deserved attention. I'm gonna start on the interior first, just in case any of the window seals are bad, so when I pressure wash it, if a lot of water gets inside, and just makes everything damp and wet and just that much more disgusting to deal with. So since everything inside is for the most part dry, we haven't had a ton of rain lately, I'm going to vacuum everything out, get the interior cleaned out as dry as possible, and then work to the outside and pressure wash the car. All right, gonna hoe most of just the big stuff out first. All right, let me open this passenger side door as I put the handle on there, so at least the thing still opens. Giant wasp nest up in here. Door card plastic. Got the hex spoiler here. This is too bad. Would have been nice to have been able to keep that. This is the driver's side marker lens, and although the lens is still pretty much good, the back's been repaired numerous times, it looks like. Interior piece for the door handle, broken part of the tail light, part of the kidney grill, armrest, all the hardware, the door card. It may not look like a crazy transformation before and after on camera, but in person, it looks like a completely different car. This thing had sat for over 2 decades, just getting covered in dirt and just grime and nature and all that, and just wear and tear and neglect. And yeah, it really made a difference. And to be honest, it was kind of just like an exercise in motivation for me on this car, just to kind of get it looking a little bit better, get the interior hoed out, vacuum it out. The whole purpose of this video wasn't really like a crazy transformation detailing video, but more or less just to document every step of the way of my journey with this 635. And getting it hoed out, vacuuming it, and washing it for the first time is a major part of that. So yeah, it may not look like a crazy transformation to you guys, but in person, it's a huge step. It was the first step. The second step is going to be pulling the spark plugs, getting some Marvel mystery oil down in there, and if anything is seized up, just let that oil sit for a while and let everything just kind of work its way in, and then turn the motor over by hand to make sure it's not seized, and slowly tinker through it and see if it's capable of running. Just make sure it's not seized first. What the car really needs is a solid scrub, like in and out, just all the metal, all the plastic, all the upholstery, even though most of the upholstery is just done in. And trust me, I know, bristle brush on paint is the biggest nightmare in the world. But since this paint is gone and it's got so much garbage just embedded into it, I grabbed the strongest brush I had laying around to just eat through this dirt and grime. And so yeah, I know. Normally it's the microfiber sponge, nice and easy. It actually looks like a car again. It's actually starting to look like a car. Even though it's still disgusting, all the mouse crap and junk and just hardware and just the thing was just filled with garbage. And getting all that out, kind of taking a look at what's left is pretty cool. And to not only have the factory original Recaros in this, but to have the original Recaros that were for an E24 is really cool. And the fact that the stickers, the Recaro stickers, are still on the seats with BMW E24 6er stamped in them is really, really cool. Yeah, just getting an overall look at this thing, you know? I mean, I'd love this thing to be back on the road someday, as I've already talked about, and, you know, and kind of build like an outlaw car out of it. But, you know, who knows? Once I really get it over to the shop and get it up on the lift and kind of see what the extent of the rust underneath really is. The strut towers are solid, which is good. Frame rails are solid. Most of the bones look like they're there and pretty solid. So that should stand to reason that this car may be able to justifiably see the road again. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Just a quick short one of getting the 635 cleaned up and washed for the first time. We'll be right back on the regularly scheduled program of the Polo, because I technically shouldn't have taken an afternoon to do this. I really need to be hammering on the Polo to get that ready for Alpine Volksfair. So good detail therapy on the 6er made me feel good that at least I did something to it. I want to thank all of you again for all the Ludwick's Garage and Governor's Club orders that you've put in. Still sending a lot of those out. If you put one in the last week, those are heading out in the next couple of days. If you head to the web store link below in the description of this video, I still have shirts, stickers, key rings, and a handful of other things still available on the web store. So go grab your gear, and to everyone else who has already gotten their gear, thank you so much for all the support. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.